And hello, everyone. How are y'all doing on this wonderful Sunday night?
Hola,
It
¿cómo
is,
estás? Y gracias por venir ahí con Second Star Survival.
and say hello to my wonderful and beautiful sister and my co-host,
Good night,
Miss
everybody.
Jen,
Good evening.
and her other half over there that usually pops in every once in a while, Mr.
The
Fluffy.
Fluffer Nutter. Good evening.
And now,
Howdy. Howdy.
howdy.
Howdy. But that's Cody. That's not
Oh,
Fluff.
yeah.
Fluff always goes, sup, everyone.
So,
I don't know about this, bro.
so tonight we had a closing discussion over on Adventures with Nubs' Paranormal 101 last night, and we set up a challenge with 5 YouTubers on a survival kit and how to use it. And those wonderful contestants are me, Miss Tarot,
Woohoo.
Adventures with Nubs, which is a complete newbie at this stuff, Dom from 13 Spirits Paranormal. Don't know if he's a newbie or not, but we'll give him a novice category. And the last one is Diva Paranormal. And you wanna explain the rules, my wonderful sister?
This challenge kind of fell upon all of us. We kind of just developed it like as we went last night. It was hilarious because I said I was going to do the $10 survival pack challenge where and I was going to film it for Matt's channel and just give him the footage and be like, look, I'm going to take $10. I'm going to go to, you're allowed to go to a 99 cent or dollar based store and
Yeah.
your secondhand stores like Goodwill, Salvation Army. Where you're only allowed to spend $10 and you have to create a pack in order to survive 48 hours in. So we took it a step further and said, all right, let's pick the locations that we're going to be surviving in. So
Yep.
each of us have a different demographical area. Like I'm supposed to be surviving 48 hours in Lebanon with nothing but what I purchased in my survival pack.
Yep. And I've got
Matt's,
the wonderful war-torn country and malaria-infested area of the Congo.
yep, I sent him to the Congo. Diva sent me to Lebanon.
I sent Dom to the Outback.
Yeah, he sent him to go play with the big spiders.
Yeah.
Nubs is going to where was Nubs going?
Nubs was going to I don't remember.
I remember we were shipping him away, but he sent
Dom
Diva
gave it to Nubs.
Yeah, he sent Diva to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Poor Diva's surviving the heat, and it's at this time of the year, so we have to make sure our packs are geared towards survival in that element and that temperature and everything. So it'll be interesting. $10, and we're gonna see what we all come up with, and we'll be on Matt's channel. And I forget exactly when we are going to be. Is it next week?
Yes, next Sunday. Yeah.
So we will have our $10 packs, and we will be having 3 judges, volunteer judges, who are going to judge our packs and how well we're going to be able to survive in our area. So we have to kind of know a little bit about our area. We got to know about the temperatures that we're going to be surviving in and how well our packs are going to, get us by for 48 hours.
Oh yeah, I already got one judge that I'm talking to right now the mothership podcast, Wild Ascension. She,
Nice.
yeah, she's gonna try to be one of our guests on one of our survival and teas also, but she really loves survival also.
Ah, nice.
Yeah,
Hey,
maybe.
Nicole.
Hey, Nicole sis, maybe Chad Smith if he wants to do it,
Last time he was
or
up here, you
Sonny.
called. Last time Chad was on your channel, you called him a dick.
he was
I
he
don't
was
know
the
if he'll
head of
come
it.
back. That wasn't it. That was a great stream. It went all over the place, but it was fun.
Oh yeah, when Nubby was having all his problems and supposed to be
Yeah.
our guest.
We invited Chad up, and he was like, "Oh no."
Yeah,
But it was great. If you guys didn't catch that one, go back, catch that one. It was last week, I believe.
yeah,
And
it was last week. Yeah,
it was a riot. It was a ton of fun. So you should definitely check that one out if you haven't, even just to listen to it. You don't even have to watch it. You just listen to it.
oh yeah.
You're guaranteed to bust a seam out the side.
But yeah, we're also taking if anybody would like to be a volunteer, judge on this, just
Just reach out.
me or Taro, yeah,
Yeah,
reach out to us.
reach out and let us know. Also, for those that have, I know some people are going kind of camping at the tail end, like before school starts or the tail end of
Yep.
summer. If you want to film a little bit of like your camping experience or anything like that, maybe lighting your first campfire, things like that, or what you've brought, send that footage to Matt and have him review it on his channel. Like, walk you
Yeah.
through, a better way to do it or a suggestion to do it, help you improve your camping situation. Just give some heads up. Like, he'll play it on his channel and kind of, react to it. I think that those would be helpful to people that are like, how am I doing with all this? And, he'll definitely, help you out, and other people can learn from you as well.
Yeah. And you know, uh, uh, me and you both get up here. We both can judge. We can both give
Yeah.
our opinions on it. And also the same thing with your bag. It's the
Hmm.
same thing. Uh, not technically. I mean, not everybody deer. Anyway, sorry. The deer was didn't know which way to go, but
Matt has Tourette's. He's like, dear.
yeah, you're right. Well, we call them hoof rats out here because there is so many freaking deer within like 5 miles. Like when I was driving down the back road and everything, coming to my house, and I passed by like 20 deer just chilling out on the side of the road.
Right, Nicole? Squirrel. All,
Yeah.
na- all National Lampoon right there. But no, if there's anything that you guys have any questions on, you want to submit a video and just be like, hey, judge my pack,
Yeah.
rate my pack, things like that. Anything that's survival based, maybe you want to learn a little bit more. Submit a question and we'll go over it.
Right.
On survival and tea. Like, we can only make this as good as the reciprocation we get from everybody else. So if there's something you want to know,
Yes.
we won't know that you want to know that until you ask. So all you gotta do is be like,
Correct.
Matt, review this, talk to me about this, talk to me about water purification when you're camping, or
Yeah.
how to best hiking gear to use to just go on a standard hike.
Right.
There's This is the stuff that he researched and is knowledgeable in all day long. So, put it to your best use.
Yeah. And the thing is
Right.
everything and anything that you buy, you know, if you buy it off of Amazon, if you buy it off of whatever, yeah, they're going to give you the best damn description on everything. It's
Oh
going to
yeah.
tell you, this is this is the mother of all tools or mother of all boots or whatever. But in reality, nobody truly knows
Fluff
until
got
you get it.
Fluff got clickbaited on Amazon with a little survival pack. He bought a mini
Oh,
survival
really?
pack, right? It looks like
Yeah.
something Wish.com, but they're like has everything you need, and it's like this thing could fit in my glove compartment. Okay, it's like
Right.
what is this? But he was like, he got it in the mail, and he's like, this is a lot smaller than I anticipated. I was like, it's your little survival clickbait.
Just think of it this way, you know. It's just like how men advertise themselves, It's always bigger until you see it in person.
Items may be bigger in the mirror than they appear.
Right.
But oh no, when
But
that came in, I was like, "What is that? A sewing kit?" And he was like, "No, it's a survival kit." And I was like, "What are you gonna survive? Like a raindrop? Like what are you doing?" He just looked. He was like, "Shut up!" I didn't. It said it was like all you need, and I was like, "I don't know." Like what you're trying to survive, a cockroach infestation or what? But
you know,
yeah,
it,
so
it it's
you can't get clickbaited. So sometimes it's
yes,
best to ask. Sometimes it's best to ask, what is this? Like, what am I even buying? Like, what is this piece of equipment it's talking about? And
right,
Matt can let you know, like, oh, that's just this. Like, you don't have to buy that in a kit, and I don't suggest you do. Or that's a
right.
great deal. Like when Amazon Prime Days was happening, they had all kinds of water purification bottles and filters and Pure Life straws and stuff like that
Oh
were
yeah.
on sale. And the water purification tablets that were on sale, they were like half off,
Mhm.
60% off. It was a great time to buy them because guess what? They don't really go bad.
No,
So, or they're not going to go bad in your lifetime. So it was a
right.
good time to buy a couple to have in case you need them. Buy like the couple things that's like, all right, if for some reason we have a natural disaster and I don't have clean water, will these work for me? You
Yeah,
may not, be out in the jungle somewhere, but you never know. Maybe you will. And
yeah.
if you are like, you know, will these work for me? Like, what do these even do? How do you use them? And, I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10, Matt's going to be able to clue you in on if it's worth it, how does it work, and will it benefit you?
Yeah. That's great. I've always tried to get people to to send me in like their bug out bag, their day hike bag, what they carry just in case, and
And Matt even like makes bug out bags and stuff like that. He makes like starter kits that you
yeah,
can contact him on and be like, what's in your basic starter kit? He can let you know and see if that might be something that's a good start for you and what he suggests on adding to it. If you are just like, I don't know what, and I want to make sure that I'm not getting taken, I'm not going to have like a wish.com experience or a clickbait experience. I promise you, what Matt's going to give you is not going to be in those parameters, and
oh yeah,
you'll be able to start yourself off to survive at least 48 hours of something.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, all my bags and everything that I've ever done, it's a minimum of 72 hours, and
Yep.
you know, and the thing is, most of the things is I will work with you to make it how your skill set is, how I will give you the advice and what items that is your level of skill set. I'm not going to send you out there with, I'm not going to send you out there with a dragon's breath ferrocerium rod and you don't even know how to make a fire with a lighter, I
Yeah.
mean,
Or send you out with a Boeing knife when you have no idea the possibilities with one of those and probably would cut yourself.
up, up, up. Okay, I guess my internet was reconnecting to the house.
Uh oh. Or I just said you weren't going
Yeah.
to send somebody out with a Boeing knife that has no experience with,
Yeah.
knife handling outside of, the steakhouse,
Right.
So
Right. Or tell you you need a hatchet when, you know, you've never you've never processed wood with a knife.
one of the things that I would love to see on Matt's channel, and the chat, I invite you to join in and tell me some of the things that you would like to see on Matt's channel. I'd like to see the survival 101 that he was doing, where the basics starting a fire, like Boy Scout style, tying a slip knot, putting up a
Okay.
hammock,
Yeah.
putting up putting up a not a TV. Yeah, put one of those up too. But putting up a tent, because most people have never put a tent together.
That is true.
What type of sleep? Going to Walmart and being like, what type of sleeping bag should I get if I live in Nebraska versus if I'm camping in Texas? What
Right.
would do me right? What would am I overspending? Am I underspending? Um, what, like, basically how to pick a terrain in order to set up camp on for shelter. What if I don't have a
Oh,
camp a tent and I need shelter?
a
What can I
fire
use?
bow.
And things like that. Those are really assets that I think are great. Some people don't even know how to properly use a machete, and those can
Yes.
be very good tools in clearing a space for you to set up camp. So
Right.
I would love seeing like the proper way to swing a machete, um, to get maximum impact to clear away shrubbery, or even to use as a tool to possibly catch dinner. That type of situation. Um,
Okay.
things like that. Those would be, I think, most people, for like when I look at other survivalists, like the mainstream survivalists. Yes, they
Yeah.
show me things, but there's always like I gotta buy some shit in order to do that. Yeah, I got to go to
Correct.
Amazon. I got to click their storefront. I got to buy the
Yep.
$50 freaking thing, and then it'll make sense. I want
Oh
to see
yeah.
Boy Scout 101 basically. But as an
Oh yeah.
adult, because I think when people hear survival, they think like bunkers and massive cans of food in places, all this
Bug
freeze
out.
dried stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bug out location.
That's
You
what I
know.
think people hear, or they think I'm trapped in the Amazon, and the Aborigines are coming for me, like I'm running
Yes.
through the jungle. Like, I think a lot of people are like, survival is that, or they're like nuclear holocaust survival.
Yep. Yep.
So that's
Mo-
not always survival. Survival can occur simply camping, because you never know what you're gonna encounter camping.
yep.
So you can. What if you did encounter Bigfoot? What if
Yeah,
you
you're
did?
right.
What if you did encounter something that you could not explain? What is the, I can't see it, but I can hear it. And I know it's maybe 50 feet from me. What do I do? I'm in my
Oh
tent.
yeah.
What do I do? That fear point that people imagine, and they're afraid of, but they don't know what to do in the event that it actually occurs.
Right.
Those would be great points of interest, in my opinion.
And see, like, then, and I could also do, the tree snares for fishing
Mm-hmm.
also, where, you know, I've when me and you were younger, Jen, fishing yo-yo traps, they were all
Yeah.
over the market. And now you can't you can hardly ever find fishing yo-yo snares anymore. And with that that's happening, people need to know how to go back to traditional tree branch fishing, where you bend the tree branch down, you
Mm-hmm.
make two 7 hooks, and you throw the line into the water with whatever, and when the fish snaps it and pulls away, it releases the tension on the branch and pulls up and pulls the fish out of the water for you. A lot of things about survival and stuff is work smarter, not harder, because the
Yep.
more calories and everything you waste in a survival situation, it if you spend 1,500 calories catching a squirrel that's only going to replenish 200 calories in you, you're overdoing it. You're going to kill yourself, you know?
Right.
It's It's all, that's why our, ancestors and everything already did the research for us, because they did so much trial and error growing through the ages that we learn the best of the best from them. So we are a lot more smarter and
Yep.
we don't kill ourselves. I'm just going to say hello to everybody that's popped
Yeah,
in.
go for
Hello,
it.
Brutus. How you doing, brother? Hello, Nicole. Hello, Sarah. Hey, David. How you doing, brother? Hey,
Hey,
Crafty. How you doing? Tammy, CR, and Dom.
and don't.
Dom.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dom's
Nicole
in here.
said. Yeah, Nicole said maybe show how to find and know an animal trail. That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's one that bypasses pretty much everybody that's novice.
right. And you know, there a lot of people, even even people that have been tracking for years, like me. I was raised to be a tracker and hunter in the Cherokee. Even there is multiple small game trails that continuously look alike. So a squirrel's track will match a field mouse. I mean, not a field mouse, but like a wolf rat's track, because their paws are pretty much identical except for two features. The the bottom paw, the heart shape on it is slightly rounder, slightly more oval shaped on a wolf rat than it is a squirrel. A squirrel has more of a heart shaped bottom track, and the claw marks, the dew claw and the top claw marks, are completely different also. And most people, like even in the Boy Scouts, they teach you to look at animal tracks in a book and look at animal tracks in real life and know the differences, because even the book is completely wrong on a lot of animal tracks. So they want you, the very first hiking stick that the Boy Scouts ever taught me to use was a trail marker stick, where you put every single animal trail track on it, so you could quick reference those paw marks on it and know what's around you.
Hey, Boomy. Hey,
Hey,
Rain.
Boomy, how you doing? Hey, Rain.
But those are like, and I think it's interesting because every state would be different, to identifying the animal trails. What's in those locations. Like, of course, what's in California, I'm going to find at least some variation from what's with you in Texas.
Right.
There will be some very strong similarities, a lot of it, but there will be some stuff that's native to my region that may not
Yes.
be yours, and vice versa. So it's always nice to know, like, hey, what people encounter in Alaska is probably not going to qualify as much to what you're going to encounter in, like, Florida.
Yes.
So it'll be
Um,
that would be something interesting to do, maybe all 50 states or something, or at least break it off into location, to see like what would be really good to look for in that regard in those areas.
oh yeah. Yeah, I just want to say I got your message, Brutus, and thank you so much, brother. Thank you. And Nicole, when it comes to batting down grass and everything, you do not rely on trail marks. You rely on the scat that is dropped every 5 to 10 push down areas. If they're small little pellets, they are an herbivore. It could be rabbit, it could be squirrel, it could be even deer. Um, because most of the time in big patches of grass, they do not leave trail marks in it. Um, the difference is when you're tracking, say you're tracking a wild hare, okay? The hare, you will see two flat areas around it from when they're hopping, but in the middle the grass is only going to be halfway rolled, like rolled between the legs. So, and if it's a smaller animal like a wolf rat or something like that, where they have more stubbier legs, it's going to be completely flattened onto the ground because their stomach is going to be rolling on the ground. I mean, it's going to be rubbing against that. But most of the time, rodents like rats, they don't leave a scat trail, unlike rabbits, because rabbits will eat while they're running. They will literally pick up grass and bite through grass while they're running so they can eat. That's where we got the term fast food from, is because of rabbits, because they will eat on the run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right, movie. Yeah, you got to know the difference between like regular scat and pellets.
Take care, Brutus.
Oh yeah. Take care, Brutus, brother.
So I got a hold of me some salt from this company out of that brand Real Salt from
Uh-huh.
and they sent me some chunks of salt, which is they call it basically it's a salt lick. You carry it around
Okay.
with you. You're low on mineral, because it's summer and we're all kind of low on
Yeah.
mineral. And I pulled one out and I told Fluff, I was like, these are for, you kind of looking to replenish your minerals. And because it's a natural salt, it's kind of, dare I say, it's slightly sweeter. You can actually taste it. It's not just
Yeah.
standard table salt that's kind of, mouth drying.
Right.
I've had this same piece for about 2 weeks now. About a
Okay.
maybe 2.5 inch by an inch piece, rough piece. And I've been working on it for like 2 weeks. The first week, not so much using it. Now that I'm remembering it, when I'm like on streams and stuff like that, it's nearby. I'll have it in my hand and I'll stick it in
Yeah.
my mouth every so often. For some reason, I cannot fully tell you why, but in the last week, I've had way more energy. I've had way more less brain fog and fatigue since I've been
Uh-huh.
utilizing this more throughout the day.
Yeah.
And I've obviously placed a few chunks of it in my survival packs and stuff like that, but I plan on
Yeah.
buying more. Um, Mineral replenishment, like people take for granted that because of that conceived notion of like the 70s and 80s and all that, when salt was bad for you and it was going to kill you.
Yep.
People are so afraid of salt. It's unreal, but it's a natural electrolyte that's actually a necessity to your
Yes.
diet. So the simple fact that I've been utilizing this, and I have it in granular form, and it's my preferred choice of salt above all the others
Right.
I've ever tried. Um, I've had way more natural, sustained energy, and that's been pretty much the only thing I've changed.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's interesting. Like I want to send you some, Matt. I've got your gift that I bought for you at the Whaley House. But
I saw that.
I'm gonna send you a couple chunks of this. And now, when I say naturally occurring salt, it's got color variation. It looks like a damn crystal, which it is.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Okay.
good stuff. It's the good stuff. I'm gonna send you a chunk.
Yeah.
Carry it with you at work, because I
Thank
know
you.
you're still sweating. You're sweating everything off, but to just,
Yeah.
and I know when I'm low on mineral because it tastes super salty.
Right.
And when I'm not, like I get more of the sweeter, pleasant taste out of it. So
Uh-huh.
it's one of the products of my week product of the week. Remember last week it was the beef liver that I've added to the diet. But
Yes.
this my product suggestion of the week is the let me get the damn bag. Hold on.
There there is multiple salt and salt electrolyte mixes and everything that you can take with you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there is where is it? There's a salt mine up north. I want to say it's like Minnesota or Montana, and it's called black coal salt, and it's like this dark ebony salt that
Yeah.
glows in like a crystal form, and they harvest that, and what it is like a salt lick also, and you you literally suck on it, okay, people. I mean,
Yeah, that's what this
like,
is. This one literally says it's the perfect companion for intermittent fasting. Just lick the salt crystal to replenish electrolytes and curb your cravings. So that's exactly
yes,
what this is meant for, and I'll show it to you guys. So that's what it is. It comes in this cute little package, and there's a huge chunk and then some smaller chunks. But I've literally added this to my diet, like I told you, in like the last 2 weeks, and I've got more energy,
right.
and I feel more refreshed when I sleep and things
Oh
like
yeah,
that. So and I always knew that your electrolyte balance was important, and I do take a electrolyte supplement which contains sodium, potassium, and one other element, and
yes,
that's all, and magnesium, and
yes,
they're all
yes.
good for you, but for some reason this one really hits.
You
And
can also use taurine
yeah,
as a electric light holder also.
and like I said, this one I've been really enjoying. I'm gonna send you some.
Okay,
And
thank you, sis.
yeah, and I mean you can always put that on a grater and stuff like that, and shave it over your
Yeah,
food if you wanted to. But I mean, I keep it just as like, I throw it in my mouth every so for like a couple seconds. I'll pull it back out, and just
right.
when you do it, I don't really leave it in there for too long. But just when I'm talking, it'll be in my hand, and I'll just kind of lick on it or whatever. And
Yeah.
I do that for every so often for about an hour or so or whatever. Sometimes less than that.
Oh
But
yeah.
especially at night, I definitely make it a point to replenish electrolytes at night and minerals,
Right.
because magnesium helps you sleep. It helps you rest more than
Oh yeah.
people know. And sodium, same thing. Potassium, same thing. When those are off balance is when you're jittery and you've got more anxiety and all kinds of stuff. So
Oh yeah.
it's like, I just thinking about it, I was like, this is something I would definitely have in my backpack if I was hiking, traveling, backpacking, whatever you want to call it, where I needed to make sure that if worse came to worse, I had mineral with me.
Right. Oh
And
yeah.
it's also food flavoring too. You shave it off
Yes,
into
it
some food,
is.
you've got a natural flavor additive.
And it's also a meat preservative too. I
Exactly.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
but let me answer Nicole real quick. Yes, animal blood, the charring of plants, natural green plants, edible plants. Um, you can find wild asparagus. You you can also get it out of you can also melt down the right mushrooms, and when it when it boils down into the water, it will release the salt. You can also, if you find a downed pine tree and the oh, what is it called? The porous wood that is from the fallen down pine trees, those, if they are soaked in water, you can squeeze that squeeze that porous wood and get the remaining salt out of that wood into the water to replenish yourself. Um, a lot of our Native American ancestors and everything, they would literally sit there during the rain and soak this porous wood and just squeeze it out like a sponge. Also, the water from moss. If you moss has multiple different healing properties to it. It's an antiseptic. You can clean wounds with it. You can pack wounds with it. You can also squeeze the water out of it, and you can also chew on the bottom of the roots of it where the dirt is,
I heard about that. Yeah.
and yeah, and you could suck out the because all earth has salt in it.
Right.
Clay, you can eat red clay, and it's too much of it will hurt you because it does have trace amounts of aluminum and stuff in it. But if you need it in a emergency situation, you can dig up red clay mud. You can burn it in a fire for probably about maybe a minute or so, harden it up, then put it in your mouth and crunch on it. And also charcoal. Charcoal
Mm-hmm.
from a fire has salt in it too.
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people, but you have to be near the ocean for it. They'll do the natural sea salt out of the ocean, boil that down.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, technically any lake or
Right.
river has silt in it, and you can filter the silt, the really fine dirt and everything on the
Right.
riverbank, and that silt has salt in it also because that's where we have the basic silt salt.
Right. Right.
But doing that,
That's
yeah,
tedious.
yeah, it's tedious to do that.
An
It's
awful lot of
tedious
work for a
to
tablespoon of salt.
write. You like I said, work smarter, not harder. You can you could dry out the silt on like a cotton t-shirt or whatever, then squeeze the water through and get the salt out that way into your mouth directly. But I mean, I mean, if push comes to shove, it's better than nothing. And Nicole, about chiggers, the best thing that you can do for chiggers is going to be rub alcohol on your body. And like I'm talking about like 90 to 100% proof. You rub alcohol on you. Don't use the bug spray or anything or DEET or whatever, because the alcohol burns chiggers and they will not touch your skin at all. So but in a survival situation, you can't really do it. You can't do alcohol. Um, but if you can use thistle milk. If you have thistles around you, like bullhead thistles or purple thistle, you can get the milk out of that and rub it on your skin where the chiggers are, and it will suffocate them, and they will move out. They will move out of the hole. So
Yeah, I watched a guy pour bleach on a chigger patch on his leg.
yeah,
And I was like, yeah, that'll do it, but I don't think you should be
yeah.
pouring bleach on your skin, but okay.
I mean, it's wait. How can you tell sand from salt? Salt is always going to be pure. It's going to glisten. When when you're at a beach or anything, you see the glistening in the sand. Those are the salt minerals that is collected into the sand. And the only reason why I say it's bad about getting the sand is because other things live in that sand
Yep.
also.
Yep.
Parasites, a lot of stuff, and trying to filter it out, you're going to have to use a a strainer, and you're going to have to pour the salt on it, and you're going to have to shake it, and all the salt minerals is going to latch onto the metal and not fall with the sand. But that's one of the problems. That's why we don't ever do that stuff anymore. If you're on the beach or something like that, it's better just to take off your cotton shirt, wet it, tie it against two sticks, hold it up, and let the wind blow from the ocean into the salt, and then that salt will collect onto the shirt, and it will harden after the wind dries the shirt.
Yeah, I'm just sending Nicole some salt lick. Right here says, put this away for a rainy day. All this
Right.
other shit, too much work.
But for anybody that's really is easily affected by electrolytes or anything, there is small packets that we used in the oil field called Spark, and it's an acronym for whatever, but it's kind of like smelling salts with smelling salts mixed with a energy drink mixed with Powerade, and you put one of those packets in like a 16 ounce of water. You shake it up, and if you down that whole entire thing, even if you have heat exhaustion and you're passed out, they will literally put that packet in your mouth and bring you back to life. Like, it's that effective for you. And you can get them for dirt cheap. You can get them for like 20 cents a pack at any of these oil rig supply stores.
Nice.
Yeah, look it up. Look it up, sis. I mean, they're dirt cheap for it.
That's something. I mean, like, if you live in a high humidity climate, those are always nice things to have. Just for people that like to go out, like in Florida, or even in
Yeah.
the bayous and stuff like that, in the swamp areas, they'll go out on their boats and shit, and their shit will run out of gas, and they're stuck out there.
Yep.
Interesting thing to kind of have on hand, I would say, just so you don't fully dehydrate in the sun.
Oh yeah. And the whole myth about you cannot drink salt water. Yes, it's true. You cannot drink gallons and gallons of salt water. It will kill you. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But you can, if you are dehydrated, you can take small droplets of salt water and dry it up with a cotton shirt or cotton bandana and squeeze a teaspoon, probably about 5 or 6, drips from it into your mouth to rehydrate and to replenish your lost electrolytes. I
Yeah.
mean, because the sodium content is so high in it, and it's the easiest way to get you back.
Yeah, you take a big old couple chugs and you're gonna end up that's gonna go out right the other end. But if
Yep.
you're safe with it, treating it like, sublingual type drops, then
Yes.
you'll be okay as to replace minerals. I mean, if you've got nothing else, and that's pretty much what you're facing, then it's that tone of something better than nothing. But if you're super
Right.
thirsty, it's almost kind of a double-edged sword, because most people can't intellectually think like, I can only have 5 drops when I want 5 gallons of liquid. That my mind is
Correct.
mentally craving, 2 liters of water, and you're telling me I can have 5 drops. Most people will sit
Yeah.
there and be like, okay, he said I can drink a little bit of salt water, and they're scooping it up in their hand and
Yep.
consuming. Like, that's what kind of happens to the primal brain in survival, is like, I need, I want, and I need to survive in that essence. So they'll overconsume. So, I mean, you dare do it before you get to that point, but
Yeah.
nobody really wants to drink ocean water until they're to that point. So,
Right. Well, it's also that mental concept. Say you're on a deserted island. All right, you are surrounded by thousands and thousands of miles of water, and you cannot drink it. So it's kind of like, you ain't got the money to go to Gucci, but you're sitting outside the store
right.
looking at Gucci and wanting it so bad, you know? And it's that I know I can't have it, but I want it so bad that I'm willing to do it. And then, see, the bad thing about salt water, that it's the heat that affects your body with
Right.
the salt water in it. It causes delusions, it causes mental insanity, and then it dehydrates you instead of hydrating you. And then you are literally dying faster because you're putting in so much salt that is literally, your body is using that salt to dry up all the water in your body that you already have as your last bit of reserves, and it shuts down your organs.
Yep. You got to be careful with coconuts too when they're fresh off the
Yep.
tree. Same thing. It'll go straight through you.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me how I know. I went to Jamaica and experienced how stupid I could be
Yep.
by drinking from a freshly, they went, took the machete, cut the top of the coconut off,
Yep.
and they're like, they'll tell you drink, but you're not supposed to like chug it. You're supposed to be like,
Right.
okay, here's a couple sips. This is really good. Now, the stuff you buy
Yep.
in the store, that's gone through filtration, that's gone through processes, even the stuff that says natural 100% coconut water, it's rid of some of the stuff that will cause the dietetic effect to promote flush is what it
Yes.
goes right through you. But yeah, it's good for you. We usually tend to mix it with water, and that's why it doesn't have quite that effect, and it can be very replenishing. But a
Yep.
lot of people think I'll climb up there and I'll get coconut. Same thing with cactus. They all think that they're gonna bust open a cactus, drink that straight, and
Oh, the
they'll get,
barrel cactus legend. Oh my
yeah,
God.
and they think I'm gonna chug that, and I'm like, you do that, you do
Yeah.
that. That's like drinking freaking radiator water.
Oh yeah.
It's not what you think. And I've heard stories of people even doing that, where they've been abandoned out in the desert, the car broke down. They'll
Yep.
try to drain their radiator to get
Yeah.
water, and
Yep.
they die like instantly, within a few hours because they basically poisoned themselves.
Oh yeah.
But um there's like, we've all watched the Looney Tunes cartoons where they're on the desert island, and they're they're breaking open
Hey,
cactuses,
Marianne. Hey, Honky.
and they're opening coconuts and stuff, and we're like, oh, that's all I need to do. And then you
Mm-hmm.
find out like, well, that's probably not the best way to do it, but it's that mindset of like, okay, slow and steady. But in
Oh
that,
yeah. Well,
I feel like I'm dying because most people, if they ever got that dehydrated, I guarantee you it's the first time they've ever done it. For most, not everybody, and so they're gonna want to chug whatever liquid is placed in front of them, whatever sounds like it can quench, because that's all their
yes.
brain knows, that they've always had liquids, so their brain is like replenish fluid. Doesn't matter what the fluid is. I've heard of people consuming their own urine to
Yep.
survive,
Well,
which is way common, believe it or not.
it is because of Bear Grylls. Because
Yep.
of Bear Grylls said that, and you know he done it. He done it because of National Geographic told
Yeah.
him that he could do it without the disclaimer that you only drink your urine in a situation where it's a mental factor that helps you. But it's only a mental factor because all you're doing, especially if you're at the point of dehydration where you're drinking your own urine, it's going to come out black because it's your decaying organs that are dying. and you are literally re-poisoning yourself after
Right.
it. The best
It's
thing
not
to
like
do,
Kevin Costner at the beginning of Waterworld, where he developed a filter
yes,
system.
right. The best thing with like urine is you make a solar steel out of it. You know, you dig a hole about 2 foot deep, you put a container in the middle of it, but you also have to find a piece of either black plastic or clear plastic, and you pee around the top of the hole. You cover that with the plastic, put a rock or something something heavy into the center of it. The heat will purify the urine and make it drinkable water. And that weight in the center of it, all the droplets will collect together and drop into that container. But
So
even
I can't walk around with a Brita water filter just copping a squat in it, hoping for the best.
technically with a life straw, you can
Okay.
drink your urine and it'll become pure. I mean, technically, yes, because with the life straw, they went to what is that river in India that is the most polluted source of
Yeah,
water?
yeah, I remember that. They took a chug out of that, and I was like, "Yo,
Yeah,
not shit."
yeah, like they sucked it out and spit the water from one cup into the other cup, and it was completely purified. I
Yeah, for
mean,
those that don't know this river they're referring to, they dump all their excrement. It's like a big toilet.
dead bodies and
Yeah, it's
everything.
it's
Like,
it's you want no part of this, like no.
yeah,
I live technically by the Salton Sea. I grew up about 45 minutes from it. I used to go and see the Salton Sea like every other weekend. Um,
right.
and my thing was I was going to take a life straw, go collect salt and seawater, and
Yeah.
do it as a challenge for your. Oh, I
No,
don't
no,
know.
no. See,
I
that's one thing. That's one thing you can't do. You cannot filtrate the salt water with it.
so
You
like
have to.
that's what I was going to do. I was going to put it through the Brita and
Yeah,
show that you cannot filtrate out the salt
the
component.
salt.
And you
Yeah.
would never be. Truth be told, the Salton Sea is so um they're actually harvesting it for the white gold of it right now for the
Really?
yeah, for the batteries for the or the all of our electric cars. That's
Huh.
supposed to be your next big. Yeah, I'll send you the videos. I will send you the
Okay.
videos and stuff because
Hey, mama, bro.
I'm on the coalition for the Salton Sea for that for the you know it's a big thing going on right now. We're not supposed to talk too much
Okay.
about it, but it's very interesting. I want Fluff to do a video on it, and we just have it's so
Cool.
freaking hot out there. I haven't been out there yet, but oh yeah, it's no, not even in December. Probably go out there in October, but yeah, they're right now there's about 4 or 5 different companies bidding on it
Right.
for mining because basically what happens underneath of something that's so salt laden is you start developing mineral composites and heat,
Hey,
and
Charmaine.
it is literally like one of the largest self-producing um areas for harvesting what it's harvesting. So
Huh.
it's really cool. I'll send you the videos. You'll blow your mind. You'll want to come see that when you come out this way too.
That's awesome. I will. I got probably about 10 years ago, I got lucky. I got my hands on a cruise ship liner survival kit on eBay, and it was on a bid and everything, and it came with the whole because every 2 years cruise ships have to change out their survival kits,
Right.
and on each of their lifeboats and everything, and they got like, you know, each each one of them have like 40 to 60 lifeboats, so they have to change. They have to change out the survival kits in every single one of them. They're not bad or anything; they're just out of date.
Right.
And um, I got my hands on a elite class survival kit, and it came with a saltwater purification uh, um, water filter, and it's supposed to filtrate up to 250 gallons of salt water and turn it into a purified drinking source.
Oh wow,
And
that's a
yeah,
no.
I got it for like $70. And I know it's one of those things of why the hell did you spend that money if you're never going to be on the sea or anything? But, you know, like I'm here in Texas now. If
Yeah,
if I had to bug out to Corpus Christi and the main water source is the ocean that's right there,
they're in good standard.
yeah.
See, all
But
my nearest water source is the ocean, but also
right,
where I was growing up, and I told you where I grew up, the nearest
yeah,
large mass of water was about 2.5 hours away. Other than that, I was stuck with the Salton Sea and a lake, in
yeah,
a mom and pop man made lake. But the Salton Sea is so well. I mean, it's geothermal lithium that they're mining out of it
yes,
now. So
yeah,
that's what I mean by white gold. But it is so the like just the thought of it is horrible, but it is so solid that there's no way like the freaking fish is
it's just like the
constantly
Dead
dying.
Sea.
Yeah, it's a dead sea. Let's just put it out there
Yeah,
for real. Um, and this was also something that was created by the runoff from the industrial waste that's in
yeah,
that area from the farmlands. Like that all went
yeah,
into the Salton Sea. It was a natural disaster how that thing even came to be. So
right. Hey,
to know
Carol,
that
sis, how you doing?
to know that my nearest water source was literally worse than what's in your toilet,
Right.
it really was like, okay, this is kind of scary. For me to get to water is about at that time, about 2 hours, but even the water I could get to was ocean. Very,
Yes.
very salty ocean. So try taking, your ideas of I'm going to filter out, you know, stuff to be able to consume this and realizing that none of this stuff's really going to work for you. You're still
Yeah.
going to have the same problem with over sodiumified water.
Right.
And that's something that, everybody should know where their nearest natural water source is that they can get to. Um,
Oh yeah.
just offhand, you
Everybody
won't
needs.
know.
Yeah. Everybody needs at least the most updated topographical map of your area, the nearest 50 miles around you. That sounds like a lot. I mean, well, it doesn't sound like a big spot of land, but if you are in a SHTF situation or a survival situation within your area, you need to know every source of water because I'll say it again, you only have 3 days. Some people have less because of medical problems and everything else. Like me, I'm a diabetic. So I constantly need water. I constantly need a
Yep.
source of water. I've learned to hold back. I've learned to be able to withstand 2 to 3 hours without a drink of water. But if my blood sugar's high, or if I'm in a survival situation where I don't have my insulin, that makes me need more and more water because I'm constantly urinating and I'm dehydrating myself because my blood sugar would be high. So you need to know your medical conditions and what can happen to you in a survival situation if you do not have your medicine with you in a situation like that.
Yeah, especially people that are very like it's imperative for them to have a regulating medication with them
Right.
uh, at all times, or to even what to do to keep that medication stable. Because some people's medication requires refrigeration or temperature
Yes.
sensitivity. What to do in those cases, or what happens when it, you know, no longer meets those parameters. Like, what do I do then?
Yep.
Is it even safe and things like that? Those are all questions to ask your pharmacist at any
Yep.
time. Like, what happens if I'm somewhere and my car dies and I have no way of keeping this cool, and it requires a certain temperature. Like, then what?
Yep. Like
So,
like me, my insulin can be room temperature or cold. It's preferably cold because it has a shorter shelf life when it's room temperature.
right.
But now with these isolated insulin pills for type 2 diabetics, I uh, I talked to my diabetic doctor, and I can take these pills if an emergency needs to be. So I pack. So when I went down to Mexico, I used to get my insulin supply and everything from Mexico before the epidemic happened, and now I can't go over there because I don't have my booster shot. But when I was over there, I bought like 500 bottles of 240 capsule insulin suppressant pills. And, I have small little containers with those insulin pills in there just in case in my survival car bag and all that stuff, just in case if something happens to me on the road and I don't have my insulin
Yeah.
and I need it.
Oh yeah.
Uh, depends. If you need, are they your seizure meds? Are they pill form or is there a shot, or how do you take it, Nicole? Yeah, blood thinners. Yeah, there's berries. There's the suka berry. There's the um Gab- Gabaza, Gabaza berry. I can never say the name of the berry, but it's a small little white berry that is underneath these heart-shaped leaves. You can take those, and it's considered a blood thinner. Not for me. Broadleaf plants and everything. The only actual plant that has any form of insulin for a type 1 diabetic is soursop or um, sour melon. No, same thing. Soursop, sour melon. Same.
Mm.
Same. Do what?
Is it bitter melon that helps as well?
Yeah, bitter melon, and soursop.
But
Yeah, and some forms of straight agave, like blue agave. If if I crush it and I boil it to a certain temperature, it can act as an insulin suppressant. But going through that, it is hard because if the temperature is too high, it'll just evaporate away. If it's too low, it won't bring out the needed minerals in it that I need. It has to be this exact temperature. Hold on, hold on. Okay, you got pills. Okay. Yeah, pills. I mean, pills can be always, if you have any medical problems, any allergies, even if you're making a survival bag for your car or whatever, always, always put in your medications in that bag, because you never know where you're going to be when you need that.
Right.
And it and you won't you when you go to other survivalist channels and all this stuff, they never once mention put your medication in there for your medical purposes. They all worry about cuts and bruises and gunshot wounds and all this bullshit. No, this channel is real. It
You have to
90% of the time.
takes to make
Go ahead.
you survive something, and what do you daily need is a huge consideration, like medication.
Right. But is Dom still here? Dom. 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 Are you here? 13 spirits.
I think
13 spirits.
he fell asleep on us.
He probably did. We ain't talking about ghosts or anything. If he's here,
There he is.
Hey, there he is. Hey, Dom. Have you got time to start on your survival kit yet, to let the people of the chat know the progress yet? And have you done it yet, sis?
I have not started yet. I've just been researching my geographical location.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I was doing with the Congo too today.
I was doing my preliminary.
Yeah. Like right now in the Congo, it is what they say 113 degrees right now, and yeah, and there's been so many battles that's happened with revolutionary groups and all this stuff in the Congo that over 150 different villages have ran from their homes into the bush to survive. So this is kind of a good subject that a good area that you picked for me, because half of the people in the Congo right now are literally living in the bush because of the wars that are going on.
Well, I figured we would choose locations so we could learn about survival in those different locations, in those different elements. And that's why I said we're researching it in today's standards, weather, social situations, all that is a consideration.
Oh, yeah. And, it's like right now, there is no, like, if you look American or speak, talk American, you're dead in the Congo. Like, they're not accepting anybody from the U.S. over in the Congo right now. So technically, my survival would not just be surviving in the wilderness either, but it's also surviving from the tribes and the revolutionary groups and everything.
And those were all things we have to consider. It was like, yeah, we had $10 and people are going to focus on creating a pack with $10, but will it cause me to survive in today's economy, social situation, weather, all the conditions? Is it going to help me survive, or is it just novelty?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Okay, he's studying the Outback too. Okay, sweet. Okay. Yeah, we'll continue keeping up the updates and everything on on each one of our Twitters, and the community posts. Is that what it's called on here? Yep. Yeah, but yeah, I I just did the community post about what we're doing today on my community post to let people know about what's going
Yeah, I'm gonna
on.
go share that to mine.
Okay. But
That way people will know where to be when we show off our packages.
yes. And Wednesday, I'm doing a double thing. I am doing a 3-item challenge, what we talked about the other day.
Right.
I'm going to be shooting that video with 3 because everybody else was trying to make it easy on me with tarps and all this stuff, and I was like, y'all just want me to go out there and have fun, huh? But I'm going to go out there with my new item that I just picked up that I showed all of y'all in the backstage chat and everything, which
Right.
is it's a pendulum. It also can be turned into a necklace to keep around your neck. It comes with what's called a peanut lighter, a basic alcohol, like spirit-based lighter system that just has a flint striker, and what is it called? A wick and a bellows to keep your fire going. Because with bellows is a long reach item that you blow into to if your fire dies out or anything like that, so you can bring it back to life without having to use your resources once again.
Right.
And I'm going to make a necklace out of it and put it around my neck. That's going to be my one item because technically it's 2 items, but it's one because it screws in together to become a pendant. Then the next one is going to be showing you how to boil water with a single wall canteen. Then the next one is going to be a basic um, a basic 4-inch full tang knife that you can get anywhere. You can get from Walmart or whatever. It's just going to be a basic small, side knife and what you can do with it. I ain't cheating.
He just got one of them there fancy multi-functioning tools.
Yes. Well, the thing is, most people don't know how to bring a fire back to life.
Right.
And even most people do not know how to process tinder or make a tinder bundle to make a fire and keep it going. Anybody can light a fire, but keeping it going is a different concept,
Especially out in the open.
Right.
It's not like in a
And
fireplace and all that other shit,
yeah, yeah. And and it's something, and this is a tool that you can buy on Amazon or anything, and it's a multi-purpose tool that at least people have a concept on it that they can be able to cook food, they can be able to make a fire and burn things in it to create a smoke cloud for a rescue service to find you and come get you. And also, most people just don't know how to bring a fire back to life from embers.
Right.
And that's what I'm going to do with the bellows, to teach you how to do that.
There is a guy, and I need to figure out what channel it was. It was one of those random finds when you're scrolling through YouTube and you had no intentions of watching anything good.
Right.
He was like the trash can survivalist or the garbage survivalist, where he built
Oh, yeah. I
stuff
remember
from
him.
the trash. Everything he
Yeah,
had
scavenger.
to survive,
Yeah.
he had to survive completely from like a dumpster or a trash can, and he showed people how to build those little prison stoves out of
Yep.
like 2 tin cans and stuff.
Yep.
Totally like like let's say we did get hit with, the big B word, right? The B mob, one of those
Right.
fell, and you still have natural resources. You still have modern resources. Like you're not living out
Yep.
of a backpack per se, because you can still get necessities or useful items fairly easily.
Yes.
But let's say you have like no natural gas, no electricity, no conveniences.
Yep.
Um, Learning how to cook from a coffee can, or
Yep.
how to use tin foil and a box to cook. He was
Yep.
doing stuff like that, remarkable and very handy, because
Yes.
if you can utilize the tactics like that out in open air, in an open area, then you're surviving. You're utilizing that function of, I need to survive, how am I going to do that, instead of like freaking out, which most
Yes.
people go into panic if they're like running low on a resource or anything like that. And that was something I found very interesting, as you were talking about keeping a fire lit. This guy was teaching people like how to keep the fire going in a Coke can in
Yeah.
order to cook. He had an egg. He managed to open a carton of eggs, and there was one or two unbroken eggs in there. And he was showing how to consume these eggs and making sure they were um,
Still
temperature
edible.
specific and edible. And I was like, that would be something interesting to see. Like if you were, you're on a campsite and you got to eat, and there's no other
Yep.
way to cook, but you've got a couple beer cans,
Yep.
and you were able to catch you some sort of rodent, and you were
Yep.
able to cut up some pieces. You can have you some fried rodent, and
Yep.
things like that.
And
It was very interesting, that
yeah,
mindset.
yeah, there was a guy that he did a $10 Dollar Tree challenge and everything, and he went out into these woods and everything, and he come to find out that there was a teenager camp out spot and everything in the area that he was at, and he went and looked and everything to see what he could scavenge from it, because he did do the $10 challenge, and there's nobody saying that you can't scavenge from whatever's around.
Yeah, use your
He-
natural occurring surroundings to create
Yeah.
what you couldn't buy.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing that everybody in this channel, well, we know that, and I know Dom knows that too. Something
Yeah.
to remember is, you're not secluded on what you can use. You're not limited to just those items in use. You're limited in those items to what you can purchase. So there was something to consider in what you're dressed in, what
Right.
you wore out there, to that location. Um, some people always double lace their boots. They always have an extra lace
Yep.
laced into their boots, for the reason of it's extra rope. Not the most durable, but it's an extra piece of something to tie something off with,
Yeah.
or anything like that.
I
There's some.
use I use 550 Survivor cord for my shoelaces,
There you go.
because you know even I can gut those things out. There's a small piece of tinder in there that I can pull out and use. There's wound up jute twine in it. There's a single strand of fishing line in it. Um, and if I gut all that stuff out, I still have the outer container of it that I can tie up my boots with.
There you go. And I think we've all seen the movie In the Army Now, where she taught them to remove the sleeves off their jackets in order to hold more water.
Yep.
You can utilize, I mean, maybe you didn't have a jacket or whatever, but you can utilize that thought process. How
Yep.
am I going to conserve water when you come in contact with a reservoir of water that is drinkable, and you need to
Yep.
carry it on with you? There was, like I said, with the guy with the condoms. He had some pretty thick condoms, and he was using them to supply him with the extra, however much water he could safely hold in those, and he had them in his pack. So all he
Yep.
did was puncture a small hole, and he sucked the water out of the condom.
Yep.
But and it sounds ridiculous, but not when you're thirsty.
Right.
So
And
something to
there,
consider.
like the natural sheepskin condoms,
Right.
they're made out they're made out of the sheep intestines. Like, it's going to sound disgusting and everything, but it has a rubber lining on the inside, but the outer part of it is still edible. So I mean, in a very, very tight emergency situation, if you could pack a few of those things in it, you can sit and make a hot plate out of a thin rock over a fire and sizzle it up and literally make sheep intestine bacon out of it. I mean,
And it's also a good thing that I tell most people, know what plant life and vegetation in your area is edible. What
right.
should you avoid, because it's different everywhere. Um, in Hawaii, we took a tour, and the tour guide was a survivalist.
Yeah.
He was from Colorado, I want to say, and
Yeah.
he was telling us what plants we could eat there and which ones we could absolutely not. And he was like, that might not come across as something you thought of on this tour, but I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
right now, was the first thing he learned when he got to Hawaii. When he moved there, was what he could and couldn't eat that naturally grew. Obviously, there was pineapples, there was fruit. You knew that, but if you were further away off the trails, it's not like pineapples grow everywhere in Hawaii or anything like that.
Right.
But you do have a lot of plant life, and some of it you can eat, flowers, things like that. Some of it you can eat, some of it you cannot eat, and some of it you can use as a natural occurring soap. Some of the
Yep.
plant life actually, has like a sap or an excrement that can be used as a soap, that can be used in hand washing or anything
Yep.
like that. Like, it's really good to know what your plant life is good for, either
You
consumption or
can
otherwise.
you can crush up dandelions, and the milk from the dandelions can be used as toothpaste or mouthwash.
Mm-hmm.
It's also an antibacterial. If you have a cut or you broke a tooth or something like that, it will help numb and heal that. You can
Yeah.
also take what's called horsetail weed or horseweed, and our Native American ancestors would break it in half, squeeze out the milk in it, and use it to brush your teeth with. So, I
Nice.
mean, yeah,
I don't have enough like books on Native American like preparations and like cookbooks or things of that nature. And I wished I did have, like, I mean, the old primitive ones, not the like, okay,
yes.
that's how you make fry bread. Like,
Well,
I wish,
since
because I
you're
have a Haitian one. I have one from
right,
Haiti that my friend that I talked about yesterday, he gave me. I also have ones from Jamaica,
yes,
that teach me how to use the land. So I love, like, dare I say, the third world countries, because their resources are naturally occurring or things that they can grow by their hand.
yep,
And when they utilize those, you get a sense of what is native to them, and you get a sense of, like, if I had to, what can I survive off of? And it taught me how to identify um, what plants were edible. It had to, like, just by reading the book, and it taught me what they avoid
yep,
and what is something to really consider when you're in certain areas. Is what did the settlers or those of more of a primal state, what did they eat? What did they harvest there? What is possible to harvest there, or grow, or anything like that? So I've been wanting to get a hold of some of the, like, I mean, I don't even know if I could find them, but like the older literature on their native ways, dare I say. I don't know the terminology best to use it, but you get what I mean, Matt, where it's like
yeah.
they basically had their recipes, their old school ways of, you
You
know,
can, like what Nicole said, like the dirt dauber's nest and everything. Any stinging insect that flies, that's bees, hornets, any kind of the, I forgot what their name is, but like any of the hornet family,
Right.
All of their spit and everything is antibacterial. Same thing with same thing with like a hornet's nest or like a red hornet's nest or anything. I keep their nests around. I don't destroy their nest because most of the time when they make their nest and they have their babies and everything, they hatch them. Some of the larva does not hatch, and you can still use that larva that's inside of it because it's in a protected womb, like a water sac. You can pull off the top part of it. You can take out the larva from it, and it's going to be wet with the antibacterial and antiseptic saliva that's in there. You can rub it on wounds, you can rub it on whatever, or you can put it in your mouth. Like I said, if you have, sores in your throat or on your lips or mouth or whatever, you can sit there and chew it and get all that nutrients and also heal yourself at the same time. But you can take that nest and you can boil it in water and make it as a tea, as a healing tea, and take it out, and it will cure your coughs. It'll cure fever. It will reduce swelling. Um,
Oh,
it will also, yeah. I mean, all this stuff is,
yeah.
and same thing with spider webs.
Yeah.
Spider webs, if you roll up a spider web into a ball and put it into your wound
Yeah.
and squeeze it, it will be a super glue and it will hold your skin together. I mean, you can't get up and do river dance or anything afterwards. You have to sit there and let it heal, but it will heal you. I mean, it will hold your skin together.
See, Nicole, that's something I want to do is to go primal, full native for, a week or two. And I talked to Matt about it. I was like, I'm actually gearing up towards that myself.
Yeah.
To just go out there and be like, all right, I'm here. Nothing else, no car, no um, conveniences, just me, a pack, and my skills.
Yeah. Wild lettuce. Wild lettuce grows throughout the world, just like polk salad does too. Wild lettuce is our Native American. It's more of morphine. It's in the morphine family. Whenever you use the tar, or you make it as a tincture and you soak it, you crush it up and soak it in vodka or moonshine or something like that for like 6 months, and it will cure all your pain. I mean, all you need is a small shot of it, a shot glass, and you're good. You don't have to worry about this Aleve or, you know,
Mm-mm.
12-hour Tylenol or whatever. You
Kill
just
your
take one
kidney.
shot of that, you're good.
Go get you some of that real stuff and stop killing your organs with that other fillers and crap they put in it.
Right. And since you and Fluffy are on that carnivore diet now, you need to make pemmican. You pemmican
I just
with,
looked up a bunch of I just looked up a bunch of recipes for it.
yeah,
The
pemmican with
variations. I
wild lard.
tried the different variations and the survival. Um, what do they call them? Pucks, which is
Yep,
basically grain with gelatin and
yep.
some other stuff in it.
Yeah, with the fat and all the unmentionable organs that they use with it.
Yeah.
I mean, even you can even dehydrate. You can dehydrate and soup, and we've done this for generations and generations. You make beef stew, you make anything. You put it on tinfoil in a dehydrator, or you dehydrate it in the sun, and it will turn into a like like a thin brick that will last for generations. And all you need to do is just put a bunch of those little slices of the hardened soup in hot water, boil it back, and you have stew once again that you can just drink.
Mhm.
It's a survival food that we've used for generations. Good night, Nicole says.
All right, Nicole. Thanks for being here.
But
But yeah,
I mean,
I've been looking a lot into that. To make packs lighter.
yeah,
Because everybody wants to put tin everything in their
yep,
packs, cans of whatever,
yep,
and it's all weight bearing.
yep.
And I was like, all I need is a good food dehydrator, and I can make a shit ton of stuff.
Oh yeah. I'm right now. Since I got this Wish deal going on and everything. Another company got a hold of me just recently, and it's the solar oven people. Um, they make the solar refraction oven
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
they got a hold of me, and they also make the solar kettle where you literally boil the water and everything inside of it, and it opens up and refracts the sun into the tubing, and it's like a gallon of water for it. But I mean, you know, if you sit there and you boil it with the sun, especially here in Texas, I mean,
Mhm.
or California or wherever, it uh, they're gonna send me one of both, and I got to do a video and everything on it and show
Oh,
it. But yeah, it's
getting you them fancy corporate sponsors there, huh?
uh,
You
I
city boy,
wish.
you.
Yeah, I know, right? No,
Them fancy
see, and
contraptions.
yeah, see, I don't care. I don't want money or anything. I don't want companies like giving me money to lie about stuff.
Right.
I want And that's what this kettle company is. They're not going to pay me or anything, but they want my true, honest opinion about it.
Yeah.
And I get it for free. This is like $400 worth of two things, $400 each.
Yeah. And that's,
And
I've been sponsored by a lot of, everybody knows I do tarot readings and stuff like that. And I'm
yeah,
into metaphysics and spirituality and stuff like that. And I review tarot decks, pendulums, all this stuff, right?
hmm
And I hate it when places are like, okay, this is free if you give me a positive video review.
yeah,
Da, 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 da. If not, send it back. Obviously no return box or envelope, right? I got to send
right,
it back on my dime. And
yeah,
I'm like, don't send me your stuff. I don't want it. Because
right,
if you cannot take a positive, or if you can only accept a positive review and not constructive criticism, or anything like that, you're not interested in solidifying a good product. You're interested in
yeah,
making money off of people.
yep,
And I'm not about that life. So I've got tarot decks that I've said I hated. I was like, I hate this deck. It's crap.
yeah,
It's the paper's too thin. It's not going to last you. It's not worth the 20 some odd bucks.
right,
I full blown said that in videos before. I was like, this is garbage. Like, how do you
yeah,
read this? And you know what? That illustrator, artist, whoever, you know, needs to take that and be like, all right, This is a person with 27 years of reading experience behind her in all different
Right.
forms of cartomancy, and she hates this deck, and she explained why. That is, it's no nothing personal. It's just like this just didn't fit the bill, and this is why. But there's a lot of companies that really do want knowledgeable people to give a knowledge-driven response
Yeah.
to their product, and I can appreciate that all day long. That's wonderful.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Like all this stuff, tarot cards, the metaphysical aspect of everything. That's a multi-billion-dollar business,
Oh, it
just
is.
like survival is a multi-billion-dollar business. Everything, what just recently, paranormal in the last 10 years became a multi-billion-dollar business now because of TV and everything.
Yeah, you could take a 15-cent part and turn it into a $200 K2 meter.
Right. Yeah.
And
And
those K2 meters didn't cost them but more than $1.50, and
right.
they're selling them for 50, 60, 70, even some places
Yeah.
$100. You
Yep.
know, and they're just making money, and they're
Oh
preying
yeah.
on people who don't know the technology, don't even know what this does. It lights up, and that means a ghost is here. Like, that's
Correct.
it's people so eager for the adrenaline and dopamine push of what they seek,
Yep.
that and it's the same thing in the tarot community. I'll tell you that all day long. I am a cutthroat, honest tarot reader. I have encountered the biggest fakes you'll ever meet, fake ass psychics, fake ass readers, people that are gouging you for money, and I will call
Yep.
them the fuck out all day, every day, no problem.
Oh yeah.
I don't give a shit if it makes me unpopular. I've called out big names and been like, "You're full of shit. You're full of shit.
Yep.
You know you're full of shit." But the thing is, um, it's easy to make money because you're preying off of somebody who wants an answer to a question they cannot find any other, or they believe any other way,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's what they view with the parent. I mean, it's all intertwined. Metaphysics, spirituality, even the paranormal, they all kind of hold hands in some regards. And
Yep.
anytime you can prey off of an emotion, if you use this, you can talk to spirits, which means that person might be able to communicate with a spirit that they're longing to communicate with. Or
Yep.
they can find a way to make money, just showing off the equipment. Look, I can use it. We've all seen them.
Oh yeah.
We talked about it last night, the people that spout the demon word and all that, and just trying to
Yep.
sell their 30-minute video or whatever. Um, we've all
Well, it's the
encountered
same.
them.
It's the same way with survival too. People, these businesses are playing off people's fears
Yeah.
because of Katrina, because of what's been going on
It's
in the world.
Yeah,
With
all emotion. If they can get your emotions locked into that dollar, they'll
yeah,
ride that coattail
hey
so
country
hard.
boy, how you doing, brother? Yeah, sorry, sis, I didn't mean to cut
No
you off.
problem. No, you're fine. But that's
But
what I've seen, and it's like that with anything. Scarcity, the psychology of sale, it all plays into it. So that's why when I see people say that they're the expert survivalist, expert, or what do they call themselves? Professional survivalist. Professional.
yeah,
You mean you
yeah,
you survive? You're out in the elements surviving every day, and you've mastered. It's foolproof for you. You'd never get killed, no matter bullshit.
and you're
You
sitting in
know?
you're sitting in a multi-million-dollar house,
Yeah,
like eating T-bone steaks,
yeah. It's like,
like
dude, you got some corporate sponsors to sell your crap, and you sold your soul to the devil, and now you're trying to sit there and be like, yeah, but I work out every day doing
mhm.
P90X. I'm in shape.
V90X.
We went old school for a second. But you know what I mean? Like all those people that are like, I do 9 hours of cardio a day, so I know I can outrun a lion.
Yeah,
Or people that are tying themselves to the top of a fucking palm tree to survive a force 3 hurricane,
right.
forgetting that it's not that the wind is blowing, it is
Yeah,
what the wind is blowing.
yeah,
So if I don't think it matters how many fucking push-ups you did that day when a Volvo smacks you in the face. Like there's some
Oh,
people that are ridiculous. They are just
I've seen
ridiculous.
I've seen people in Florida, like the one famous video of the guy that was during the last hurricane that hit Florida. He was out there with a freaking like 10-foot pole, standing against the wind with the
Uh-huh.
American flag blowing and his long mullet up in the air. Like those
Yeah.
are the people you want to see on like survival stuff. Like
Yeah, and then a truck comes and smacks them. But
yeah,
it's I tell these people all the time, it's like and this is one of the reasons I love your channel so much. Common sense runs out the window if money is involved. The
right.
incentive for greater sums of money is involved. The common sense, we sweep that shit under the rug. Because
Yeah,
it's like, well, such and such, who is a self-proclaimed authority of such and such, says use this and it will do you right in this situation, whether it's survival, paranormal, um, any niche, music industry, another one that sells a ton of fucking propaganda shit. You need this new mixer in order to have this
yep,
sound, in order to be taken seriously. It's got to be by the brand Sony. You got to have uh K2 speakers, otherwise your music isn't going to come through correctly. You have to have the latest Shure microphone, and it's like, really?
yep.
Otherwise, I'm not a serious musician. I literally saw one of my at the time friends say, if you want to be taken seriously in the paranormal, you had to have a brand new Apple MacBook Pro,
Ah,
and creative whatever fucking software, because you got to be able to produce the latest ooh ah video. And I was like, no,
right.
you're a fucking gimmick and you're trash. That's what you are. If
Yep.
you have to have that, your evidence ain't fucking good enough.
I
And
mean,
that's what people don't realize. If you're not good enough without it, how the fuck are you good enough with it?
yep.
And
I
that's the
mean,
case with everything.
CR may get mad at me for this and everything, but I'm gonna call out a major survivalist YouTube channel, and his name is Canadian Prepper, and this motherfucker is a fear monger times a million. He makes everybody scared. He tells people don't buy anything cheap, because if you buy things cheap and everything, it's going to break on you. You're not going to have it. You're going to be out there and you're going to be fucked. And you got to buy this Silky brand saw instead of a Fisker saw, because Silky brand is so good and it's used by the Japanese. But he doesn't ever tell people how to use a Silky saw. You
Yeah.
know, most basic hand saws are a push and pull cut. Silky saws only cut on the pull, not the push.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, and it's made out of thin carbon steel. So when you spend $50-$60 on a Silky hand saw, pruning saw, and the first time you bind that blade, it will snap in no time. A lot of these survival channels have proven that. And Canadian Prepper, 13 Spirits, he's in Quebec, I believe. And but he he has his own store. He has Amazon links, but he has his own YouTube store and YouTube website where he has his own Patriot food line, and he has this and, you know, all these big name stuff on his website that he charges an arm and a leg out of, because he makes people fear. Oh, don't buy this from this store or anything. Buy from my
Well,
store.
if you go through his Amazon links, he gets a kickback from every sale he makes.
Yes,
So that's why, if he says it's good enough, you better buy from me. And there's the
right.
convenience. It's through Amazon, so it's that drop ship type
Oh,
situation.
Oh no, he has his own personal store too.
Oh,
He has his
I'm
Amazon affiliate, but he has his own personal
oh yeah,
store.
I'm sure it does. But I mean, he makes
Yeah,
money. He makes money every direction he puts you in, whether it's through his own store, their store, whatever. He's gonna make money. That's why he's gonna direct you towards. Well, if you can't buy from me, buy from here, but it's still a connection to him. And
right.
they're gonna tell you what brands, what everything. Now, is he fully wrong by saying not to buy a quality piece of equipment versus like
No,
Wish.com? I mean, he's not
yeah,
wrong for that, but now the direction he's pulling you in isn't a quality piece of whatever. It's the idea that yes, quality will surpass something that's cheap and breakable. Okay, we're talking particle
yes,
board versus 2x4s, right?
yeah,
And so the idea is he's literally ingraining through into people through the psychology of sale. You need to buy this one versus the
yeah,
comparable one that's going to save you X amount of dollars.
right. And
Instead
I
of
mean,
how it works, like you said, it works like this, and this is what you're looking for in quality.
yeah,
They're never going to describe that because they want you to buy their item.
right. I mean, it's like, I guess in survival, I have taken more to the mindset of Cody Lundin than any other survivalist out there. You know, Cody Lundin, this guy, this guy is a legend and a badass. I'm sorry, but this guy has went to Antarctica and he has never worn shoes since 1973 was the last time he wore a pair of shoes.
Oh wow!
And he teaches in Arizona, desert survival and everything.
Oh,
He's
so
a
that's
complete
where I
dick.
live. Okay, that's
Yeah,
yeah. I heard he's not
he
someone
looks
you.
like Brett Michaels that's fat.
Yeah, yeah. I heard he's not someone you really want to be around for very long
Yeah,
because he's got an ego to him, but I think he's earned it. It's kind of like his merit badge.
right.
Earned a little
All
bit.
he cares, yeah, all he carries on him is a sash around his waist and a Mora first gen Mora knife that has never broken on him around his neck. And you know, he he went to Antarctica in shorts and a shirt and just two pairs of wool socks on and walking around in 5 to 6 feet of snow and was able to survive like that. But it did affect him at a certain point to where he had to skin a deer and wear a hide around him to
See,
keep
but
his body temperature.
that's surviving, but that's knowing your limits. It's like, all right, I'm
Right.
at my limit for this. How do I how do I make this situation where I can survive it?
Yeah.
And that mentality is what people should be looking at versus the gear happy mongers.
Yeah.
Because they're not
And
teaching you how to survive, they're teaching you how to buy shit.
yes,
That's not survival.
right. And yes, you can survive on bare minimum. You can. It is 10 times worse, but you have to be very, very intelligent, very, very photographically, have a great photograph memory to be able to do shit like Cody Lundin. I am not that level at all, but I've been poor most of my life,
Right.
so most of my stuff is secondhand knives, or I had to make my own knives, or get flea market knives, and use those. But but somebody telling you that you need a $1,000, you know, what is that brand name? Shit. It's a really expensive knife that's supposed to be like the godsend of all knives. I, CR.
Yeah,
What is that knife that Shadow has? One of our good friends, Shadow Scout Swede, he literally bought this $1,000 knife and he has never used it once because of how much it cost. But
the fuck have it for then?
yeah, yeah, knife and fallen or something like that. But it's supposed to be like the godsend of all knives and supposed to be able to take care of any situation at any point. And that's the shit like Canadian Prepper sells to people. Like this, this $1,000 knife or this,
Yeah,
$500 tent.
teach me how to sharpen a stone. Teach me how to sharpen a clamshell. Show
Yeah,
me how to make a knife out of something when I don't have a knife. I'd rather do that all day long than spend $1,000 on a gimmick. Now I'm not saying
yeah,
it ain't a good knife, and I'm not saying it's not going to do what they say it's going to do, but not every that's not survival when not everybody can afford it.
right.
It's gimmick because um, not everybody who when we come into that situation where we need to survive is going to be the person that shoved out $1,000 for one knife.
Yeah,
you know um it's one of those things where, in my opinion, and this may be my opinion alone, but I may share it with others, is surviving is, like you always say, it's the desire to survive. And if
yes,
you have nothing, how are you going to survive? That to me is the core essence. And yeah, there's things that make it easier, but you
yeah,
can't rely on them because you may not have them in that situation where now you need to learn how to survive. Now you're putting it into practice.
correct. Yeah, and that's why I never tell people to bug out. I never, I never once in I have never once told anybody to ever bug out because unless the only time you ever bug out is if there is something going on to where you cannot stay at your house, which like in California, the rampaging fires and everything that was going on at one time, or you're in Hawaii and a volcano erupts and you're right there at the base of the volcano. Um, those, God, God moments,
Act
but
God, yeah.
yeah, but I do not have a bug out bag. I have get home bags if I'm away from my house because everything I have is in this house. All my preps, all my gear, everything that I have to survive is in this house.
Right.
And my land and everything is my food, is my my territory, And why the fuck would I up and leave this house with all my stuff in it, knowing I can't carry every single bit of this anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
in one car? Why am I going to bug out to another location somewhere else that's 20, 30 miles away? Why? That's stupid. But but all these survival channels make people fear that bugging out is your only option in SHTF
Yeah,
or
I've noticed
anything.
that you're always the first thing is like they grab shit and they're gone.
Yeah,
Now, don't get me wrong. Like you, I have my commune, here. I'm established here. If I stay home, I'm established.
right.
But if I have to leave, I have the the stuff that I would be able to survive with if I was able to take my car. I
Yeah,
have idea. Now, have I ever had to run the drill? No, but I have the
yeah,
idea. what I need to leave with only what I can carry.
Yep.
And I know what I'm reaching for. Like off the top of my head, I'm grabbing this, and hoping that this is all I need, because I know this is what I can safely carry. Because I
Right.
have to take care of my children, and I have to consider fluff and stuff like
Yep.
that. So this is what we're reaching for, and I know what fluff can carry, mass wise. So I'm like, all right, he's got this bag. We're loading it with this, and this.
Yep.
My daughters, they're younger. One of them, she's only like 90 pounds. She can't carry shit. So I have to. She can't. She's trying to work on building muscle right now. She's been working out every day and stuff like that. But
We'll get her a 50-liter backpack and strap that to her.
yeah, I'm just like, what is she gonna be able to carry for me? But she's working on her muscle. She just can't go. She can do it for short durations, but nothing
Yeah.
long term. As many people can. They're like, I can lift and carry 200 pounds. For how long?
Yeah.
For how long
Right.
before you start evacuating your bag because your back's killing you, or your arms and shoulders, or what? You have to be able
Yeah.
to take the supplies and make it that possible 10-15 mile track wherever you're going. You know,
Right.
but it's like we were talking about with medication. I know what medication I need to grab. Like, let's say fire is going on next door, I got to get out of my house. I know what
Yep.
medications I'm grabbing. I know what I'm reaching for right away, and I know what I'm just going to have to Hail Mary and kiss goodbye
Right.
and shit like that. But and granted, I know it. It's never been put into practice.
Yep.
So can I say it's foolproof? Absolutely not. But these
Oh yeah.
survivalists that I've seen, like, that's the biggest thing, is like, okay, when the zombie apocalypse happens, because that's the way I always placated in my mind. I was like, these people think fucking zombies are coming or something.
Yeah.
Like that, Night of the Living Dead's real. I don't know. Or that, I understand tsunami based issues, flooding, fires, earthquake is in my area, to
Yeah.
where, if for whatever reason your house is on a cracked fault line, yeah, you're not gonna be able to stay in your home. It's
Right.
unsafe. But the commonality is you probably won't have to worry about that among, it's a small percentage that are going to have to consider that,
Yeah.
versus like a flooding or a volcano or anything. And living near Mexico, I've had to deal with the volcanoes, but mostly from
Right.
the earthquake component. Um, and a lot of people don't realize, like, if you came into those situations, it's a smaller chance than, I wouldn't be able to sustain in my home.
And
So,
see, like I've always been, I was born and raised in Tennessee.
mhm,
Tennessee through the Dixie South has one of the most violent, even more violent than the fault line of California. But it's it will never, and can't say that it will never happen.
yeah,
But if that fault line ever activated, the whole entire South would have been floated off into the ocean.
same with
But
California.
yeah, but
Sure.
y- we really didn't ever have to worry about like tornadoes. We didn't have to worry about fires. We didn't have to worry about any of that stuff because we were in a valley. But the threat of like storm, like bad storms or flooding or anything like that, it never really bothered us. But until I came out here in Texas, where like today there was 4 fires at the bus stations, and it was just the sun itself hitting on parts of dried grass, setting it on fire.
Hmm.
And
That happens a
it
lot where I grew up.
yeah,
It happens a lot. Our
yeah,
people's rear view mirrors, the sun would hit them, they would
y-
reflect onto dry hay bales, and light hay
yep,
bales on fire. People are like, we
yeah,
don't know how it got lit on fire. It's like the magnifying glass thing. But all
yeah,
you need is a strong enough mirror and hot enough sun, and you'll start a fire.
right. And But see, and like those kind of things, the fire out here in Texas is what scares me. And that's why most of my land around the house itself is dirt, is just plain straight up dirt. I don't have grass growing around the border of my house, at least 5 foot out around my house. You know, that doesn't mean that it's going to stop if wind blows or something and embers catch onto the top of the house or something, but it is going to stop from those fires coming into the house, you know? It may be just a deterrent so I can get water or something and start spraying around, spraying it around to keep it at bay. But but I will never, unless I just have to, ever bug out. And I have over 20 years worth of food and gear and everything else. I don't even my RV would not be able to carry all the stuff that I have,
Oh,
you
right.
know? And we would have to load up my RV, we'd have to load up my SUV, and then just go. But if an SHTF situation happens to that kind of point where you had to bug out and 1,000 other people had to bug out at the same time, there's no sense in it, because for one, you're not going to be able to get gas. You better have a full tank of gas and hope and pray that there is some kind of mom and pop gas station along your route.
I get a full tank of gas.
Yeah. But
I make gas naturally.
Oh, yeah? Oh, Fluffy.
I make it naturally and fresh every day.
Methane gas. Hey, that's actually becoming a resource now. Like, there's three ranches out here that their whole entire house is ran on methane gas from their cattle that they have. Like, they have a methane collector in the barn that when they put up the cows and the pigs and everything at night, it collects all the methane gas that's used all night long and put into a generator to run their house and their equipment for the day. I was like, oh my God, like that is a perfect, reusable energy, So we're gonna do that to you, Fluffy, when SHTF happens.
Pour it all up in your gear right there, huh?
Yeah, we're just gonna lock Fluffy up in a bathroom and having methane gas collection.
Buy him with enough pinto beans.
No, Swedish fish is all I need.
Yeah, and a lifetime supply of those Swedish fish candies, and apparently he can blow a hole in the ozone with that shit.
I blew a hole through somebody's chair.
This guy's sending us into the stratosphere with methane gas, right?
Oh, jeez, that's great.
But I am gonna have to get some rest because I gotta go to work tomorrow.
You're fine, sis. You're fine. Yeah, I was about to end it anyways.
All right. It was a blast and informative yet once again. And I thank you so much for having me co-host with you. And everybody in the chat, I love you more. And everybody in the chat, thank you so much for sticking through this with us and our madness of surviving in situations that we hope we can survive in.
Yeah, I hope so too. And but you take care, sis. I love you both, y'all. And I'll talk to y'all later, okay?
Absolutely. Talk to you soon, bro. Love you guys.
Love you, sis. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. So, thank you all for joining us on another wonderful episode of Survival and Tea. And I hope, just like what, Jen was saying earlier, you're not promised tomorrow. You're not promised to have a perfect world. Survival can happen at any moment. And if any of you want to have your stuff, because everybody's bag has to fit your need. You can't just buy a single bag and be ready for everything. You need to know what you're doing. So if any of y'all do need help or anything, send me a DM on Twitter. Send Taro a DM. Whatever you need help with. If you're out looking for something and you see an item that's for sale or at Goodwill or whatever, send a picture to me and I will tell you if it's good or not. I am here, Taro's here. We're all here to help each other because in SHTF, nobody is going to be able to help you but you. Just remember that, okay? And be safe. I love you. Y'all take care, family. And we'll see you on the next one. And I will do the closing right now. Good night, family. I love y'all. Bye.